Good morning, everybody. It is a beautiful Thursday in New York City, and we're going to talk all about how you can actually show up for your workouts when you're unmotivated. About a month ago, I made a video that I feel like is like a sister to this one. I'm just talking all about how to build out a system to create consistency for yourself. And in that video, I chatted really briefly about the fact that motivation is not always going to be there. You're not always going to have motivation, so a lot of times you need to take action first. So if you haven't watched that video yet, I would definitely recommend doing so because it's going to kind of be like the precursor to the 6 tips I'm going to talk through in this video. So today's video is going to be a little bit of like throwing a bunch of spaghetti at a wall and hoping that something sticks. But hopefully there's something in there that at least sparks some ideas of how to show up for yourself when you're unmotivated. Because always remember, at the end of the day, it is up to you to figure out how you can actually do the thing. And I'm going to try and help you get there along the way. If this is your first time here, my name is Justina. I'm a personal trainer based out of New York City. And my main goal is to just help people understand the basics. Not only how to choose the best workouts for you, but also how to actually show up for those workouts. So we're going to touch on all of that today. We do need to start to get ready for the day. I'm going to start to put on my makeup and we'll just kind of like chat about what the day looks like ahead. So right now it's about 8:15. Today was, luxurious. I got to sleep till 8. It was amazing. My first client is at 9 virtually. And then I need to finish editing a YouTube video that is going out in like 2 days. I'm a little behind there. Then we're going to go to the gym. My workout today is full body and I'm definitely feeling unmotivated because I am so tired and so sore. I'm currently training for the Bronx 10 mile, which is in less than 2 weeks now, 10 days to be exact. And I had my taper last week, so we're in the middle of peak week and my legs are just cooked. So even though I could easily skip it today because I could just tell my coach like, oh, my legs are tired, so I'm gonna rest, I want to implement a few of these tools to at least motivate myself to see if it's the best option to do my lift today. We'll talk more about that when we get to it. So obviously rest is important, but I also know that like I am supposed to be fatigued this week. All right, then at 2, I have my second client of the day, also virtual, so we'll be doing that back here. And then I have some errands and some laundry to do. Very exciting things. We are teaching an upper body strength class tonight. In case you don't know, I do have like an online workout membership program. Such a weird way to say that. It's called the Fit Club, and essentially you get access to live virtual classes like the one I'm teaching tonight, on-demand workouts, progressive programs, there's a members chat, and then every Friday I offer one-on-one sessions that are 15 minutes where basically members can just snag those up, talk to me, and we can chat about anything, goal setting, what to do when you're unmotivated, nutrition chats, picking out a program for you. Sometimes people just like to stretch for 15 minutes. So you get to see a little sneak peek of like what a class looks like. And then football season kicks off tonight, baby. Go Birds! I am from Philadelphia originally, so don't think that I'm like hopping on a bandwagon. All right, I'm gonna finish putting on my face and then we gotta get some stuff done before we talk about this first tip. So I will see you back in a little bit. We're gonna do a little tuna, which means this cat is about to hop out. We're gonna show you a magic trick. She's so silly. All right, so my first tip for when you're feeling unmotivated is to bribe yourself with a reward. We got a lot of options for rewards here. I'm going to start with the reward that I'm going to do today, which is I have not listened to Sabrina Carpenter's new album yet, like really listened to it. So I've been saving it for a day where I knew I would be a little more unmotivated. But you could implement a lot of different things here. If your favorite podcast has a new episode, save it for that workout. If there's just a fun playlist you found on Spotify, save it for that workout. Maybe you're going to give yourself a treat after your workout. So maybe you go grab like an iced coffee. And, hopefully like ideally you don't need to rely on that method forever of giving yourself a reward. But I just find that it comes in really handy on those days where maybe motivation has not found you. So here's the plan. I'm going to quickly finish assembling this tuna melt. In about 20 minutes, we're going to walk over to the gym, get in our lift. And on the way, I'm going to give you another tip. Again, I got a lot of tips for this video. I've got 6 going on here. right, let's chat about our next tip. So tip number 2 is to change your environment. Obviously, I'm doing the most extreme version of this where I'm physically bringing myself to the gym. But I know a lot of you guys work out at home, which I also think is a great option. So if you're a workout at home person, maybe it's just even as simple as like, can you change the lights? Can you change what room you're in? Do you have a designated area for your lifts? I find that changing your environment really gives you a mindset shift of like, okay, now I'm here. It's time to get the work done. Personally, I don't really love working out at home simply because I just get too distracted. But I think a lot of that is because my workout space is also my work space. So personally, I really prefer going to the gym because it brings me into a new space. I've taken the time to walk the 10 minutes there. So I'm like, all right, I'm here. I might as well do the workout, or at least start it and see what happens. So again, remember that not all of these tips are going to fit every single person, but hopefully we're throwing some spaghetti at the wall. Something sticks, something clicks. Oh my God, it's windy. Beautiful, but not great for talking to a camera. So we're going to head into our lift. I think I said this in the beginning. I'm very sore and I do have a full body today. I do have a full body as of full body day today. Yikes. I'm working with a coach. This is a program that she wrote for me. And this is going to lead us right into tip number 3 for if you're feeling unmotivated. And voiceover Justina is going to take it from here.
All right, so tip number 3 is to have a plan B. Maybe a lack of motivation is really dragging down your energy and you just simply can't get it up. So I want you to have some other options in your head before you even get to your workout. Maybe you have a barbell deadlift programmed and that just feels way too draining. Have the option to grab some dumbbells instead. Maybe it's as simple as lowering the weight on certain exercises. Maybe you spend more time in your movement prep. You know, if you're feeling that twinge of, I'm not super prepared for this today, recognize it, prepare for it, and adapt as needed. I do find that often once I get through my prep, I am ready to go. And that was exactly what happened on this day. My coach always gives me 1 to 2 rounds of movement prep, depending on how I'm feeling that day. I went through 2 full rounds, and when I got to my barbell kickstand deadlift, I felt unstoppable. So it just goes to show you that if you take a little extra time, sometimes that motivation is gonna come when you least expect it.
Sides you can, otherwise you can just go one side to the other. Hopefully you eat with one leg moving between them. You send the butt back, exhale up. All right, we are moving into tip number 4 as I just put my stuff in the dryer and I'm picking up Zoe's medicine. So tip number 4 is to break it up into smaller chunks. What do I mean by this? Instead of looking at your workout and going, wow, I have all these things to do. Hopefully your workout's already broken down like this, but break it up into chunks or sections or blocks. So today I gave myself the option, okay, I'm just gonna go in and I'm gonna commit to my movement prep. And if that feels good, I'm going to move on to the next block. If that feels good, I'm going to move on to the next block. So really just taking it in chunks. Obviously, I like this method for days like today where like, not really sure how the body's feeling, how the mind's feeling. So it's a little bit less commitment. But also, and this is kind of just like a life hack too, I find that breaking things up into smaller digestible parts, maybe even like a to-do list or a checklist, makes things just far more approachable and manageable. I'm also the type of person who, I love a to-do list, I love a checklist. So checking things off of the list with like checking the box that it's done gives me a little dopamine hit makes me want to keep going. You know, this entire video is about being unmotivated, which is a mental thing. So you've got to almost like play mental games with yourself to get you to show up. So anyway, we're going to keep on going. We're going to head to Dwayne Reed, pick up Zoe's medicine. Always very weird experience picking up a cat's medication from a human pharmacy, but here we are. Let's do it. We need to start to get set up for class tonight. I just wrote the program on here. This is actually, all of the classes this month are going to be updated for the Move and Mobility program, which is basically like strength training with mobility work. So it's a really great way to introduce yourself to mobility work if you've never done it before. So that being said, we're just going to start to like get the space situated. All right, so tip number 5 is actually going to be to hire somebody. Hear me out. I realize that this is not like financially an option for everybody, but I do find that if you are someone who lacks a lot of, let's just say, internal motivation, having some of that external motivation or even external accountability can be really helpful. I mentioned it earlier, I started working with a coach, and even though I didn't necessarily do this for an accountability factor, it has really made me realize, like, oh, I look forward to seeing those little like notes of congratulations. Oh, I don't want to miss a workout because I don't want to fall behind in my programming. And I get told that a lot from my remote clients. So the people that I just like write programming for and they do it on their own, they really love the fact that like they can do their own thing. They're kind of in charge of like when they're doing the workouts and, you know, doing it by themselves. But they know I'm checking their homework. They know that I'm going to be there on Friday afternoons looking at what they did and updating next week's program. So they want to make sure that they don't fall behind, and that's part of their motivation. Again, financially, this isn't always an option for people, which I totally get. So there's other ways that you could kind of build some of that motivation by following a program. Like I talked about earlier, the Fit Club has programming in it, but there's also like plenty of other coaches and apps and things out there. So like if I'm not a good fit, I'm just saying a program in general is really great for certain types of people just to help keep that motivation, because you know you have something on your calendar. You know that you're trying to finish this program in X number of weeks. You know that you're working toward a certain goal with this program. So anyway, it is just about 5 o'clock. I'm gonna have a little snack because I'm hungry, but I don't want to eat too much before I teach this class. So we do have one more tip. We're not gonna talk again until after class because I need this camera like fully charged. So we're gonna charge you. We're gonna have a little class. It's an upper body strength and mobility class tonight, just 30 minutes in and out. We love it. And then I do have to edit this before the Eagles game tonight. So I will see you freshly showered after class.
All the way up and around. Push-ups from the floor. This isn't just a pull and hang out. We're pulling up in 1. You could go heavier with this. Exhale up, inhale down. We switch in 4.
Great class. That was a lot of fun. It's always a little like word vomity teaching a new format because I'm like trying to get my flow and get my rhythm, but I feel like it was as good as I could have taught it. So let's jump into this final tip so we can round out this video. I can get my work done and I can watch those birds, baby. Okay. So tip number 6 is actually to find a gym buddy. I will be totally honest with you, this is not actually my cup of tea. Again, not all of these tips have to apply to everybody. I'm just someone who prefers to like have her alone time, focus on me. I don't really need that type of motivation, but every once in a while it is fun to go with my husband. But if you're somebody who does need a little bit more like external motivation or external accountability, having either a spouse or a friend or I don't know, an enemy come with you to the gym is a great option, because that way you know that someone is waiting for you, right? You guys pick out a date and time, you have it in the calendar, you know that someone is going to keep you accountable besides yourself. I think what we're really starting to learn through all of these tips in this video is, are you someone who needs a little bit more internal accountability or external accountability? Because those accountability factors really lead into a lot of where we do find our motivation. One of the most interesting things that I'm continuing to learn working with people one-on-one and also in group settings is like not only how to communicate things differently, but how each person is so different and how they're set up to actually show up for themselves and like what each person needs. For me, I am very self-motivated. So the things that help me gain more motivation, like on a day like today where I'm not feeling like taking that action, is having really strong systems in place and understanding for me how to like kind of compartmentalize each part of the workout. For somebody else who might need a little bit more external accountability, some of these other tips like having a gym buddy or hiring a coach might be a better option. So I really hope that there is at least something, one thing in this video that just kind of sparked an idea of like, ooh, maybe I'll try that. Maybe that'll click. Because that's really all this is in building like a healthy lifestyle. It's figuring out what tools we can put in our toolbox and what tools we don't need. And as we go through different phases of life and different routines, those things are going to change. So this is an ever evolving process, which hopefully makes it a little bit more fun and exciting along the way. So I am going to edit this class from tonight and we're just going to chill and watch the Eagles game. Hopefully we crush the Cowboys. I'll take your little go birds in the comments and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.